some people think that, when we're closed and we can't move in businesses that, we are missing some things, and we're missing the connections. But the great thing is we can still connect. And so I would just encourage everyone to reach out to their neighbor, reach out to their friend, reach out to someone who they haven't spoken with in a family, and realize that we're all in this together. That's the whole premise of our gym, is that we're all in this together. And this is a great place to come and get support. So even though if you're not a member of a gym like that, you can create your own community within your neighborhood, within your local church, whatever it is. So get out and serve. Don't just think about your own current circumstances, but see if you can help someone else along the way.
Hello, everyone. Dan Peterson here with the Peterson Partners team at Berkshire Hathaway. I am here with Shaun Lynch, our team member, but also very privileged to have Miles Davis with CrossFit joining us today. So,
thank you.
How are you, Miles?
Doing well, thank you. I'm glad to be here, and excited to speak with you guys today.
Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, your family, and your Smyrna residency?
Yeah, so I've lived in Smyrna both as a renter and as an owner since 2012. I moved to Smyrna from Mableton, and my wife and I have been married almost 11 years. We have two daughters. We have an 8-year-old who's in second grade, and then we have a 6-year-old, and their names are Peyton and Madeline, and we love Smyrna. It's been just an amazing city to live in. I'm originally from Marietta, Georgia, so never thought I'd see myself moving, to anywhere outside of East Cobb, but here I am, and I love it, and I would not live anywhere else.
Very cool, very cool. So one thing that I kind of want to talk to you about, Miles, is there's a lot of misconception about CrossFit.
Absolutely.
What is CrossFit? What is CrossFit, and what attracted you to CrossFit?
Yeah, so to answer your first question, CrossFit is really just a series of functional movements. And when I use the word functional, we just say real life movements. So what do you do in real life? We run, we jump, we step up on things, we pick things up from the floor, we press them over our head. We do those movements that our body's naturally designed to do in the first place. And so the CrossFit program basically takes those functional concepts, puts them together, adds a little bit of intensity based on what the specific athlete can tolerate. And then we vary those movements every day. And we see great results from doing that.
What attracted you to it? And then also, how did CrossFit South Cobb come about, and how long, how did you bring this to life, basically?
Yeah, so it was for me back in 2008. So this was before I tell people CrossFit was cool, and most people had no idea what it was. And I was honestly just looking for a different type of workout. I happened to read an article in a Men's Health magazine about this new upcoming trend called CrossFit. The article talked about these gyms that didn't have mirrors, and these short but intense and very effective workouts, and every day was different. And something inside of me just peaked, and I was really interested in it. So I went online when I got back to my home, and lo and behold, there was a new CrossFit gym opening within just a couple miles from my home in Mableton. So I walked in one day, and actually I was only a year removed from major reconstructive knee surgery from the brutal sport of church league softball. And, what I noticed is my body had never felt that way before. I'd never seen results that fast before. And I was actually at the time paying a personal trainer at a large Globo gym to train me. And I felt I was getting more results in these CrossFit workouts than I was these really expensive personal training type workouts. And so I just fell in love with it. And, a year later, I decided to help that gym owner out as far as being a part-time night instructor. So I had my day-to-day corporate job, and I would teach CrossFit at night. And I fell in love with teaching. I felt like it was just a calling for me to encourage people, to give people a lot of positivity, and it went really well for me. And so it came time to decide what I was going to do next in my career. My fiance, now wife, and I put our heads together, and we said, you know what? If something that would really make us happy and we could do it for a living, we would run our own CrossFit gym. And so we took a leap of faith in the fall of 2009 and moved out of our current CrossFit gym, and we started a new CrossFit gym from scratch called CrossFit South Cobb. And we're located near the center of Smyrna in the Williams Park neighborhood. And this fall is going to be 11 years in business.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. What were your original goals for the gym, and how have they changed over the years? And the big part is too, do you feel like you've accomplished what you set out to do?
Good question. So I tell people all the time, when we started the gym, I was really just in between jobs and wanted to find a way to make a living. So it went from starting out the gym as a means to an end. Hey, this is a way to provide some income. And then it quickly grew into this cause and this vision of, okay, wow, we're seeing how this can really change lives. How can we do this on a macro scale? How can we create this huge community of 150, 200 people and really change lives? And so it grew over the first couple years to that, where, again, not so much just focused on transactions. Hey, let's sell gym memberships, but hey, let's build these lifelong, life-lasting relationships, and let's see where it goes from there. And so this is our business now is kind of a byproduct of that, just building quality relationships, not necessarily worrying about how many numbers we're getting in the door, how many memberships we're selling, things like that.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, some of the activities that you guys have done in the past, and I'm sure you have or had planned moving forward, how do they impact the community? Like, what are you guys doing with the city of Smyrna and everything like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, we've always been big with partnerships. And so as far as the city of Smyrna goes, we decided we wanted to help as any way we could, whether that's organizing things for volunteering, community service. We partnered with a local initiative in Smyrna called My Friends and Me a couple of years ago, and they built basically this philanthropy idea to deliver meals around Thanksgiving time. So we actually helped them build 1,000 meals this past Thanksgiving, and we used our home facility, our gym, to facilitate that. We've also partnered with the Smyrna Police Department, the Smyrna Fire Department, and the Smyrna SWAT team. So our goal is just to get involved and help as much as possible throughout the city of Smyrna. If that means helping one family down the street, great. Or if it means touching 1,000 families, that's great too. But we just want to be able to help in any way we can.
Cool. Very, very cool. So obviously right now you guys are shut down, but you're still active with your members and everything like that. What services are you currently providing to your members at this time?
Yeah, so back in March, I made the statement to all our members and our gym community. I said, just because our four walls aren't open doesn't mean the gym's not open. And so, thankfully, with the help of technology, we were able to transition our business pretty quickly to a remote training setup. So basically what that would mean is a couple different things. You could take someone who's already been familiar with your movements, but obviously they can't physically come to the gym anymore. So we write custom workouts for that individual based off the equipment they have available to them. So some people might have nothing but a kitchen chair and a large book, and then other people have very extensive home gym setups. And so our job now is to guide them through a weekly routine that's customized just for them. And then on top of just the workouts, we also want to keep them accountable on a weekly basis by staying in contact with them and making sure that they know that we're there to support them along the journey. So even though we can't physically see them face to face right now, we can still maintain those intimate points of contact.
Yeah, that's really cool. With Governor Kemp announcing that you guys had the ability to open, you decided not to. And I know that the governor also mandated certain safety precautions that you would have to put in place before you felt comfortable opening. Can you kind of go through what those safety precautions that you have to adhere to?
Absolutely. So it was kind of a twofold thing, right? So when the first decision came, a week or so ago, we were in phase one. Jim said, hey, basically gyms could be in phase one to open. There weren't a ton of regulations when that first executive order came out. So we were, as a company, just a little apprehensive about just jumping the gun, opening when we didn't know exactly what the regulations were. And then a couple days later, they came out and said, okay, here's some other things that you have to do if you do want to open. You can't, you've got to be able to ensure 6 feet apart as far as social distancing guidelines go. The other big thing is you've got to be able to screen folks coming in for temperatures. So as you can imagine, as soon as that mandate came, the run on contactless thermometers went through the roof. And so if you go on Amazon or any website, it was very difficult to get your hands on that. So that both of those bits of information caused us to kind of take a step back and say, let's make sure when we do open our physical location that we're going to do it right. And so I would rather continue to get data from other gyms in our area, and then also just the Georgia Department of Health, and then make a better decision, that wasn't rushed, whether it's waiting another 2 weeks, waiting another month. We didn't announce a timeline for reopening just yet because we wanted to make sure we had all our ducks in a row before we did that.
when you guys finally do decide to open up, what are some of the safety, what can members do to make sure that they are also staying safe? I mean, your guys are going to have tons of safety precautions in place, but what's something that I can do to make sure that I'm staying safe?
Yeah, it definitely starts at home. So understanding and making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So screening yourself for a lot of the symptoms of COVID-19, making sure that you don't have an elevated temperature, if they're being aware of body aches, body coughs. I understand through the news there were a couple other symptoms that just got released as far as could be related to COVID-19. So I would say step one, self-screening. Step two, making sure you're not bringing things into the gym that are more than necessary. I know a lot of folks in our gym love to bring gym bags. Well, gym bags obviously can carry germs. So not necessarily needing to bring that bag into the gym. And then also aligning with our safety protocols, being open to be screening as far as the thermometer goes, using our cleaning stations, which we'll have provided for each member. And then we will also have distancing stations as well. So as long as you stay in your station that's assigned to you, you won't run the risk of coming into contact with other staff or other people who could potentially be carrying the virus.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So as a member myself, I do have to ask, do you have an idea of when you're going to be open yet?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that. So yesterday we had a 2-hour staff meeting at the gym to take us through some basic floor scenarios. So our staff are starting to get trained on this new normal. So all we are waiting for is that thermometer to come in. We ordered 2 different ones from 2 different sources. So we're hoping we'll get one within the next week. My goal would be to give our members a 2 to 3 day window as far as knowing exactly when we're going to open, and then also our new gym schedule and how to reserve a time for that schedule. So, if you had to put me to a date, I'd say definitely within the next 14 days, we expect to open our physical location.
What are your plans for CrossFit in the future? Any growth events, anything coming up?
Yeah, good question. So as far as events go, we're going to be at the mercy of the state of Georgia as far as what we can do, what we can't do. I mean, we've always thrived on getting people together. So if I can't get a large group of folks together in a capacity, we're going to have to put our thinking caps on and figure out what else we can do. So our next venture would be to reach out into the community service realm again. My goal as the owner is to get us involved with at least 2 major projects each year. So the one I mentioned earlier, My Friends and Me, that's going to take place in the fall, usually a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. Ideally, we'd love to find another major project to work with over the summertime, so our community can really feel like they're contributing to something, not just getting fit and improving their own health.
Gotcha.
For someone who's kind of on the fence about getting into CrossFit, like I was on the fence and I debated on it starting
Sure.
for years. What's something that you would say to them
Good question.
not like encourage them or anything like that, but to spin it into more of a positive light?
Absolutely. I would say most people view CrossFit as if you're not in shape enough, it can't work for you. So what I would say is fitness and CrossFit is not one size fits all. I would encourage you to look at the gamut of our membership, talk to as many people as you know who have maybe had some exposure to CrossFit, specifically our gym. I'll tell you, we have members who have been in their 70s, and then we have elementary school age kids who are in single digit ages. So it doesn't matter where you are and where you're starting from. The great thing about our program and our gym specifically is that we can meet you where you are. We don't throw you into a large group of people and say, okay, go have fun, get fit with those people. We work with you one-on-one to start with, whether you prefer to do that for the first week of your membership. Some people like to do it for months on hand before they're comfortable transitioning to a group environment. Other people don't like group environments at all, and they can do it one-on-one as long as they'd like. So you don't have to love being in a group environment. You don't have to be in shape to start, and just know that we're going to meet you where you are.
I'm actually really glad that you just mentioned something about the kids aspect. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you have in place for kids and teenagers and everything like that, and developing their fitness?
Yeah, absolutely. So for years, that was probably the number one question I got was, when are you going to have a kids program? When are you going to let my kids come and work out? And almost like the COVID announcement, we didn't want to just jump the gun and create a program that I wasn't confident with. So we took our time with finding the right coach. So it really starts with finding the right coach with the right personality, who has the patience, the knowledge, the wherewithal to work with kids in their specific age groups. So currently we have 2 different kids programs. We have one for elementary school age kids who range from ages 5 up to age 9 or 10. And then we just started this spring a middle school age program for those ages 11 and close to high school age. And so we offer these programs 1 to 2 times a week. We want to introduce them to the proper fundamentals of movement first before we load them up with different objects and weights to try and carry and do that well. And then we want to build their confidence. We realize that today's kid has a different dilemma than the one 25 years ago. We're competing with screen time, couch time. The kids are not as active as they used to be. And so we want to make fitness and we want to make moving and sweating fun. And we want to build this community within the kids so they'll look forward to seeing each other and they'll keep each other accountable, not just being held accountable by a coach.
You may have a lot of motivated parents right now to get their kids out of the house.
Absolutely. That, I'm one of those motivated parents, having 2 kids myself. They miss the gym. I miss them being in the gym. It's funny you say that, because most parents realize when kids are active, when they're physically active, behavior changes, mood changes, diet can even change. All those things are affected. And so we want to, build these great fundamentals from day one. And hopefully these new habits that they learn as kids will serve them well into adulthood.
Awesome. Miles, this has been a pleasure talking with you on this. In closing, what's the one thing that you want everyone to know?
Some people think that, when we're closed and we can't move in businesses, that, we are missing some things, and we're missing the connections. But the great thing is we can still connect. And so I would just encourage everyone to reach out to their neighbor, reach out to their friend, reach out to someone who they haven't spoken with in a family, and realize that we're all in this together. That's the whole premise of our gym, is that we're all in this together. And this is a great place to come and get support. So even though if you're not a member of a gym like that, you can create your own community within your neighborhood, within your local church, whatever it is. So get out and serve. Don't just think about your own current circumstances, but see if you can help someone else along the way.
Great info. So everybody, reach out to Miles at CrossFit South Cobb and get signed up. He's got a great program there. Shaun can attest to it as well. So thank you again, Miles. Thanks, Shaun, and have a great day.
My pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you so much.